What's up, guys? Welcome back to the dojo. I was gonna go over some information that if you've been living under a rock, you may not have heard, but Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy to step down. After nearly 14 years at the helm, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy will step down this week, marking a major, though expected, changing of the guard at the Walt Disney co-owned Star Wars studio. In her place, current Lucasfilm Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni has been named President and will remain his creative title, and Lucasfilm Business President and General Manager Lin-Wen Brennan has been named Co-President. Dude, I love this because now Dave Filoni can focus entirely on the creative aspect of Star Wars, storytelling, doing what he does best, being George Lucas's essential Padawan growing up, when Star Wars was booming. Awesome. I love that. I love that. It seems like Lin-Wen Brennan will be the person in charge of, the business side of things, when Dave is going to put his full attention to the creative aspect of Lucasfilm, and I think that is great. When George Lucas asked me to take over Lucasfilm upon his retirement, I couldn't have imagined what lay ahead, said Kennedy at 72 in a statement Thursday. It has been a true privilege to spend more than a decade working alongside the extraordinary talent at Lucasfilm. Their creativity and dedication have been an inspiration, and I'm deeply proud of what we've accomplished together. I am excited to continue developing films and television with both longtime collaborators and fresh voices who represent the future of storytelling. Oh man, I'm glad she's out of there, dude. She tried to lie about George not giving the scripts for 7, 8, and 9. George had all those films already written out, ready to go. He just didn't have the time to make the film, so that's why he gave him to Disney, and they trashed him.
Well, actually, George Lucas never wrote a script for 7, 8, or 9. We don't have source material.
I have story treatments of 7, 8, and 9 and a bunch of other movies, and obviously we have hundreds of books and comics and everything you could possibly imagine. So, I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy, and I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and make great movies.
Infinite just information of Star Wars in archives, and Kathleen Kennedy on stage claimed that they were not given a single thing. No comics, no books, no backstory, nothing. They have started from the ground up doing it all on their own, which was a 100% fabricated lie. I'm glad she's gone. I wish her the best, but she genuinely ruined this company along with several others on the board, and she's the one who calls the shots. But I'm glad she's stepping down. I wish her the best, especially the Kenobi show. That was originally supposed to be a movie, and it got botched beyond belief, and because of the fail of Solo: A Star Wars Story. I hope Dave Filoni, Dave Filoni's made about 90% of the good stuff of Star Wars since Disney has owned it. There's a few projects that weren't as good of his that I really didn't enjoy. Those being Tales of the Empire, stuff like that. I wasn't too big of a fan of. The Ahsoka show, I was very disappointed in that. It's just little things. But everything else he's made has been amazing. Him and Jon Favreau have both made amazing things. I didn't like the Book of Boba Fett. That was pretty disappointing. Season 3 of Mando was also very, very, very bad. But they've made some amazing things, and I'm glad Dave can work on all those. And, I hope with especially all the new projects coming out, I hope he really takes a moment to look and realize, be like, hey, if this isn't going to do good, pull it back. It's not about making money, it's about making memories. And, I really hope he stays true to that, because that's what George would want. Going into that, Disneyland is pivoting on Star Wars Land. Here's why. In a shift from its original ambitions, the land will no longer be primarily set in the time period of the recent Star Wars sequels. That means modern villain Kylo Ren will be out, at least as a walk-around character, while so-called classic characters such as Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia Organa will make their way to the fictional galactic town of Black Spire Outpost. That is awesome. They should have done that since the beginning. This whole Galaxy's Edge thing, man, and don't even get me started on that Star Cruiser hotel. That was awful. It was to be a place of living theater where events unfolded in real time. the tone will now shift, as while the inland radio station won't go away, Disneyland will soon broadcast composer John Williams' Star Wars orchestrations throughout the area. The changes are set to fully take effect April 29th. Although Disney has stated some tweaks may roll out earlier, the character Rey introduced in Star Wars The Force Awakens will still appear in the land, although she will now be regulated to the forest area near the attraction Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Park representatives said it's routine maintenance and no changes are planned for the land showcase ride, which will still feature Kylo Ren and the First Order. So I imagine in due time that stuff will probably change too. I love Kylo Ren. He was my favorite character in the new trilogy. But it's about time. They play. When you go to Galaxy's Edge, they had nothing to do with John Williams' music or George Lucas at all. Like they forced their idea and their version of Star Wars and try to just shove it in your throat, and it was wrong. It was very wrong, because you didn't see Darth Vader, you didn't see Han Solo, you didn't see Princess Leia, you didn't see any of these other amazing characters that are involved in the story. And especially with the sequel trilogy they came out with, they killed the main characters, and they ruined their chance of being able to have Luke, Han, and Leia get back together and see each other again, and they ruined that. And it's unfortunate that it happened in that way. Really just cleaning house. They need to do that, and that's what will help this franchise. The ride makeover will feature 3 new locations from Star Wars films, planets such as urban Coruscant or gas realm of Bespin, as well as the wreckage of the second Death Star near Endor. Each flight crew will determine the destination. Additionally, those seated in the ride's engineer positions will be able to communicate with Grogu, also known as Baby Yoda. That's cool. I mean, things like that. This park opened in 2019, and they're just now making these changes, and it's a shame. It should have never been like that. It just feels like they were in it for the money the whole time, and that's why it failed. And I'm glad they're making the changes that need to be made. What Daisy Ridley says about her Star Wars future Lucasfilm shakeup. It won't affect me going forward if it were to be true. Daisy Ridley, who played Rey in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, told us today, December, when asked if Kennedy's rumored exit would change Ridley's future with the franchise. I think what's lovely is people are excited because they want to see the films, which is great. Ridley laughed at the notion, while she promotes films that are literally made, she can't talk about any potential future projects. Everything is so accessible now. It's really wonderful to be part of something where people maybe don't know as much, Ridley said, and I love that people want to know, but it'll also be a great surprise then when the thing is done. She wouldn't elaborate on the thing, but it is something that can eventually be seen in the movie theaters or streamed on Disney+. It will now fall under the purview of new leadership. For any potential timeline of Ridley's return to Star Wars, the actress offered a maybe when asked if news could break in 2026. I don't know about 2026, she said. In the future, sometime, yeah. So it doesn't sound like she got very much information about what's going to be happening, but I'm sure she probably has been told something. She's just not allowed to talk about it, and that's okay. I hope Dave really takes the time to make the changes that need to be made to make this business thrive again. Overall, I wish Kathleen Kennedy the best. Obviously, she just wasn't a good fit for Star Wars, and that's okay. She has made plenty of other great projects, and unfortunately, she just hired people that didn't have Star Wars in their best interest, and it was more of this, they wanted to put their name on something, and that's a shame. It should never be like that. If you're interested in a project, you should be interested in the story and the impacts it will have on the people, not your pockets. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. May the Force be with you.